Hello friends, today I want to show you how you can convert your images with simple prompt to outer scenes and some different effect. Okay, here this is my main image. Okay, and I turned it to fire or Christmas or night or snow or spring or changing the brick material. Okay, for doing this process, I use the ControlNet Pix2Pix. In this video, at first I am trying to provide some information for beginners, and after that I will provide some information for more professionals that are familiar with ComfyUI or some extension like WAS node. Okay, so at first, let me show you that what is Pix2Pix. Okay, it's a control model and it can get an image as input, and after that it can analyze your prompt and make a condition based on your prompt for that image. For example, on this sample you can see that with this prompt they make it on fire, and after that you can see that the house is fired. Or for example, on this prompt you can see that the prompt is make it winter and it changed the image to the winter. So Pix2Pix can understand and can analyze and can figure out that what is in the image, and for example it can detect the ground, building or other parts. Okay, so with this way it is a little similar to semantic segmentation, but still it's different because it can add some effect to them, and also it's not very accurate and it's not very high quality, but I think it's very interesting to use. And for example, here you can see that they try to change this man to Iron Man, and with some simple prompt it's not very bad because they didn't use any outer control net, and working and having some experience with this control net is very interesting, I think. And you can see that uh, the best way for working with ControlNet is writing simple prompt. Okay, and you can write your prompt as action. For example, make it on fire, make it winter, or turn it or swap it, something for replacing. Is this kind of prompting can working very better for Pix2Pix. And here is another reference. This is the main repo and main paper. And also you can see that here are some other sample. For example, here swap sunflower with rose or add firework, and it can make some changes in image. Or for example, this one, make his jacket out of leather, and I think it could be very improved, and it's very interesting. Okay, so in ComfyUI, how we should use that and what are the important rules. Okay, so let me move this image here. Okay, because they are my samples, and this is my reference image and this is my saved image. Okay, and this is my workflow for loading the control net. Okay, let me try to explain that, and after that you can figure out that what is this. At first I load a checkpoint. I have positive prompt and negative prompt. For example, here on my positive prompt you can see that I write make it on fire and smoke, and then I send them to a control net. This time you can see that I use the advanced control net. Okay, this is a new node and if you update your ComfyUI, then you can get this ControlNet. It's very more powerful. It has two connections, one connection from negative prompt and one connection from positive prompt, and also you can adjust the start percent and also the end percent. And I use this ControlNet v11-e e-sd15 ip2p. Okay, and just please pay attention to the e. Okay, because all the experimental ControlNet models are defined by e. Okay, so it's not a final model, it's still experimental, but it's interesting. And I sent the ControlNet to the sampler. Here I have an empty latent, okay, and this is my VAE that I use that for VAE decode. And also I can show you that how you can use the image with image to image after that, and it's very easy. And this is my image that I sent it directly to the ControlNet. And the ControlNet Ip2p or Pix2Pix, it doesn't require any preprocessor, and you can connect directly your image to the ControlNet. Okay, so for example, here you can see that I write this prompt, and let me do some adjustment, adjust the CFG. And here I have written some sample prompt. For example, make it winter night Christmas. Okay, and the Christmas has some more weight. And let me queue my prompt. Okay, so you can see that this time it's try to make a night scene for that building, add some more tree elements, and also add some lighting. Let me bring the reference near that, and then you can copy. I think sometimes the result could be interesting, and this is the reason that I try to share that with you. And for example, a simple prompt to make it winter without night and Christmas. Okay, so you can see it's the building in the daytime, but on the ground or snow, still we have the same trees, but we have the snow effect on top of them. And yes, also it's interesting. Or for example, swap wall with dark brown brick tile, and this time, excuse me, I paste them in wrong place. Okay, Q prompt, and this time the dark brown brick tile are with lower width, and I can see you that way I can show you that way I did that. Okay, because you can see that with this prompt it completely changed the environment. Okay, and I think still maybe I have to reduce the value. Okay, no problem. If you lost the environment, also you can play with CFG, and if you change the CFG value, the result will be more similar to the image. And also let me change the seed. Okay, so working with some parameters are very important in this control net, and if you don't pay attention to them, maybe you cannot get a good result. Okay, at first pay attention to the width of your prompt. Okay, and for example, then you should pay attention to the CFG number. And if you check the ControlNet website, you can see that we can adjust the weight of this effect by tuning the CFG, and the CFG is very important for this control net. For example, on this prompt you can completely understand. Okay, let me remove the width of my prompt and change the CFG, for example, to number 3. Okay, it's going to turn it to fire and a smoke. Okay, and now if I increase the CFG value, then you can see that the effect of the fire will go also to other parts of the building. Okay, and for example, with some higher CFG, you can see all the house is on fire. And if I change the CFG value to some higher, the amount of the fire will be increased in the generated image. Okay, so it's very important. It's very important to pay attention to the CFG value and also the weight of your prompts. Okay, the next thing that is very important is writing the true seed. Okay, for example, let me change my CFG to 5 or 6 and queue a prompt. Okay, for example, here with the seed number of 16, you can see that the fire is started at top and also some middle part of the building is on fire. And if I change the seed value, for example, to 1, you can see some different position for these fires. Okay, and finding the right value and a good value for your seed is very important for working with this effect. Okay, so here you can see the CFG number is fixed on 6, and also just I am trying to change my seed. Okay, for example, in the seed of number 2, the result is interesting, but it's very high. So if I like to get some lower strength of fire, then I have to change my CFG value. Okay, but the position of the fire and other things is defined by seed. Okay, and just changing the CFG value can help you to adjust the fire amount. So this time, for example, with CFG number of 1.5, only the sky is yellow and there is not any fire. But after increasing the CFG, slowly you can see the fire. Okay, so exactly with this technique, with finding the right seed value and after that play with the CFG, I made this animation. Okay, and you can see that for example, the fire position is correct. Let me go to the next frame. Oh, okay. And if I go frame by frame, you can see after increasing the CFG value, the fire is going to grow on the building and it will cover all the building on fire. So it's only with the rule is playing with the CFG and also the prompt weight. Okay, so let me show you another sample. For example, with the CFG number 4, okay, I want to change the width of my prompt. Okay, so the weight of the prompt is changed and you can see that the building, the color of the building is more similar to our reference. Okay, and this is very also, it can be useful and it can be important. And here from this image, I send this image to VAE encode, and also I can use this image as latent image. So this time the empty latent image is not working and it's something like image to image technique, but the denoising is about fun. And in this condition, if I run this prompt, you can see there is not any effect of the fire or a smoke on this building. So if you are using this technique, for example, image to image, you should use very higher value. For example, if I increase the amount to something like this, maybe after that we can see the fires on this house. Okay, what is the benefit of this technique? Sometimes it can help you to get more colors similar to your reference. It's all, nothing more. Okay, and if you decrease the denoise amount, after that you should increase the width of your prompt or increase the CFG. So you can understand that what is the true balance. Okay, now the beginner part is finished and I want to explain some technique for animating the parameters in ComfyUI. Okay. For animating the parameters, for example, for animating the CFG or animating any other parameters, it is not related only to CFG value. Any parameters in ComfyUI could get input and also you can make some animation value for the input. Okay. Let me try and let me explain that to you. At first, you should go to manager and make sure that you have these 3 extensions. Okay. The first one is efficiency node. Let me show you. The ControlNet is very necessary also. Number 15, efficiency node. And also I will place the links in my YouTube channel. And WAS node suite, WSA node suite. It's very, very important. And number 55, PythonGosssss. I think something like that. And also this extension is very useful for animating the parameters. Okay. Let me show you how I am doing that. Okay. At first, let me connect empty latent, QWeb prompt, on CFG number 4. Okay, great. So the CFG like 2, I think could be better for this condition. This is my sampler and this is a value. At first, I will right click on the sampler and click on convert CFG to input. So instead of defining the CFG from a writing value, here the CFG is changed to input and I can connect another input to the CFG. And what is my input? Okay. If you install the efficiency node, you can go to the efficiency node and after that go to simple eval and select the evaluate flutes. Okay. And you can see this node. Okay. This is exactly like the yellow one that I have. Okay. Let me add that again. Efficiency node, simple evaluate flute. Okay. Here you can see that we have 3 parameters, A, B, C. These are our variable. And here is a Python expression. And here we can write an expression and play with these parameters. Okay. Number A, number B, and number C. For example, you can plus A to B, after that minus from C, and divide them by 2. Any kind of expression you can write here. And if you want to have good information about all the expressions, if you load this node, here you can see all kind of the expressions that you can see, that you can write, and I think it's very powerful and useful. Okay, here I have the evaluate flute, and for example, I want to change the variable number B to input. Convert B to input. So I can define the B value by an input node. If you right click and go to the utility, then you can see the primitive node. Okay, this is a default node from ComfyUI. And once that you connect the primitive node to any kind of input, it can get the value of that input and you can change that value from the primitive node. And in primitive node, there are 4 useful parameters. For example, here I can start with 0, but I can change this parameter to increment. Okay. And each time that I am pressing the Q, you can see that the value here is increasing. Okay, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it can work like a counter for us. This is a trick that I am using, and actually it's something like a loop. Yes. And for example, if you press this checkbox, okay, automatically Q prompt when the Q size hits 0. If you check this and press Q, it will continuously increase the number. Okay, so it could be some infinite loop. So for changing the CFG value in animation mode, I use this technique. Here I place the primitive node for B, and here I have the A. The starting CFG for me, the A value, I will use the A value as the CFG, and I think here 2.5 could be useful. And what is the C number? Okay, here is my expression. Okay, I wrote A plus B divides C. Okay, so it's the B and it's the C. And for example, if I divide the value that is coming from the B with 4, after that, in each step, the CFG value will be increased for 0.25. Okay, and if I change that to number 2, in each step the value will be increase about 0.5. And after that I can connect the flute to the CFG. Okay, and here you see that I used a node. The name is showtext, and it's coming from the extension number 55. Okay, and also it's very useful, so it can show me the output of this node, and I can make sure that I am on the right track. So I'm going to the string and using this one, show text. Okay, so I can delete my old nodes because I explained all of them to you. And now you understand what is the workflow. So let me Q prompt. Now the prompt, the CFG value set to 3. It was started with 2.5, and after that it plus about 0.5, and the final amount is 3. Again, if I press the Q, it will be changed to 3.5. Okay, you can change this amount with adjusting the C number. It's very easy. And if I press this tick and press the Q prompt, automatically it will continue the generation. And here you can see that each time the value is increasing. Okay, and if I have some higher value, some higher CFG value, then I have some more effect. It's all. Okay, and this technique combining these nodes is very, very useful for animating many kind of parameters in ComfyUI. Maybe I think in the future or now there are some other ways, but at this moment I am using this workflow with combining this node from efficiency And yes, and this node from the extension from number 55 PythonGosssss to show me the value. Now it's 7.5 and now it's 8. Okay, so remember the CFG number 8, and I want to cancel the process. Okay, this was the image. Right click, copy clip space and paste it here. Okay, I want to disconnect this node and add a primitive node, utility primitive, and here I want to write the 8. So with CFG 8 exactly it should generate same result. Okay, yes, this is previous image and this is the new image, and you can see that exactly the CFG value, for example, was 8 and now it's 8.5, but it is not connected. Okay, this technique is very useful. Okay, but how you can animate a parameter in your prompt? For example, now the weight of this prompt is 1.25, and how you can animate this number. Okay, let me show you. This time I used a node, I used two nodes from WAS suite, WAS suite. The first one is text multiline and the second one is text concatenate. Excuse me for my okay. Here I split my prompt. Okay, for example, here I write make it on prompt with this icon. Okay, and here I have again a node from I forgot that efficiency node. Yes, and again here I have a primitive with the increment. Okay, and here I have another text line and I close that. So this text with this number that is coming out from here and merging with this parameter is equal with this structure. Okay, so here I want to add another node. This node is very useful, show text. Okay, and you can see make it on fire with this number 0.92 exposition. Okay, I write that here, and this time I want to add a smoke. Q prompt. Okay, so you can see it is trying to combine all of our text and numbers together. So with using this technique, every time you can animate the value that is here. Okay, now you can see each time that you are pressing the Q, it can increase some amount. And how you can define that amount? From here, from this expression. And if you change the value of the division, for example, to 20, Each time it will increase more. You can see here. And if you use this text as an input to your clip input, then you can send that to your conditioning. Okay, this is the name of this node is clip text encode. Okay, let me create that from 0. Clip text encode. Instead of writing here, you can right click and click convert text to input. So if the convert text to input is activated, then you can connect the string from here to here. Okay, and also the clip text encode needs some input. The input is clip, and you have to connect the clip to here. And the conditioning should, this is the positive conditioning, and it should go to the ControlNet positive. It's all. So now each time that you're doing the Q prompt, the amount could be increased, the width of your prompt, everything. So with this workflow, easily you can animate prompt, animate the parameters, and many other things in ComfyUI. Again, this workflow is available on my Patreon, and if you want to support me, please join me to my Patreon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any question, please let me know. I will try to answer the comments. Also, if you want, I can give you the consultation over a video call with hourly rate of $60 per hour. And I can learn you directly, or I can help you to solve your problem. Okay, thank you. See you.